Over hundreds of millions of years, life has evolved into a diverse and magnificent kingdom of animals. Some are so tiny they can rest on a fingernail, while others are as large as cars, trucks, or entire buildings. From enormous marine animals to terrifying prehistoric beasts, our planet has been home to some incredible giants. But which species, living or extinct, is the largest of them all? Today, the largest animals are found swimming across the open ocean. Whales are some of the oldest and most remarkable animals on our planet. Evolving about 50 million years ago, these giants belong to a group of marine mammals called cetaceans. Most cetaceans, including dolphins and porpoises, have long bodies and whey-shaped tails, but whales stand out thanks to their incredible size. All 10 of the heaviest living animals are species of whales. Their bodies are so long and heavy that normal scales cannot possibly measure them. While there are many giant whale species, the biggest is the blue whale. Widely considered the largest mammal and probably the largest animal of all time. Blue whales stretch up to 33 meters long and weigh more than 150 metric tons. Their hearts alone weigh an astounding 200 kilograms, about 3 times heavier than the average human. Despite their size, blue whales are not single-target predators like sharks or killer whales. Instead, blue whales are filter feeders, so their diet consists mostly of tiny shrimp-like animals called krill. When feeding, blue whales swim directly into large schools of krill. With their mouths hanging open, they can swallow over 80,000 liters of seawater in a single gulp. They then strain the water using bristled bones in their mouths called baleen that filter out any edible krill. Every day, adult blue whales consume more than 4 metric tons of krill, which amounts to millions of calories. Compared to blue whales, terrestrial animals are much smaller. Today, the largest terrestrial animal is the African bush elephant, a massive leathery herbivore found in savanna habitats across several African countries. This powerful animal stands about 3 meters at the shoulder and typically weighs about 6 metric tons. Their strong legs and muscular trunks are powerful enough to knock down trees and flip cars. Because of their size and strength, African bush elephants have few natural enemies. Lions and hyenas may target young or sick elephants, but they're often scared off by stronger members of the herd. Elephants are not only strong, but also intelligent and highly social. They produce various sounds to communicate, from rumbles and cries to roars and high-pitched trumpets. They can even hear sounds with their feet, detecting vibrations from several kilometers away. While African elephants are massive, remarkable animals, they're not the largest terrestrial mammals of all time. That title likely belongs to Paraceratherium, an extinct species of near-hornless rhinoceros that lived during the Oligocene epoch. According to the remains we've discovered, Paraceratherium likely stood over 5 meters tall and weighed as much as 3 modern elephants. It probably lived in arid plains and subtropical forests across Eurasia, where it roamed in small herds and fed on the leaves of tall trees. It's unclear why Paraceratherium went extinct around 23 million years ago, but it may have had something to do with its size, at an estimated 20 metric tons. Paraceratherium approaches what some believe to be the maximum body size for land mammals. Warm-blooded terrestrial animals need a lot of energy to maintain their body temperature, so some scientists believe their size is limited. However, reptiles are a different story. The largest reptiles to ever exist belong to a diverse group that lived between the Triassic and Cretaceous periods. These famous reptiles are, of course, known as the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs ruled our planet for the lion's share of the Mesozoic era, between 233 and 66 million years ago, when non-avian dinosaurs retired from their existence. During their long reign, dinosaurs diversified into many shapes and sizes, from tiny, agile scavengers to hulking giants larger than any terrestrial animal in the history of life. Among the most famous is Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tyrant king of the dinosaurs. T-Rex was an enormous bipedal predator that lived around 68 to 66 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. T-Rex is not the largest dinosaur ever discovered, but it is one of the largest terrestrial carnivores. Standing about 4 meters at the hip and stretching up to 13 meters long. According to recent estimates, a large adult T-Rex could weigh up to 9 metric tons. On top of its huge body, T-Rex's jaws produced an astounding 6 metric tons of force. That's about 3 times more than the bite of a great white shark. T-Rex also had large and powerful sensory organs. Its eyes were the size of softballs and weighed around 2 kilograms. Some paleontologists believe T-Rex had sharper eyesight than modern hawks and distinguished a similarly wide range of colors. Recent research shows that T-Rex also had a superior sense of smell, thanks to larger olfactory regions than most theropods. Between its crushing jaws and superior senses, T-Rex was a fearsome apex predator, earning its rightful title as the Tyrant King. Though T-Rex was massive, the largest dinosaurs were not carnivores, but humongous plant-eaters called sauropods. Sauropods had huge bodies, long tails, and necks that stretched up to 15 meters long. The first true sauropods emerged during the late Triassic and were not much heavier than African elephants. But over millions of years, these animals grew to unimaginable sizes. By the late Cretaceous, the largest sauropods stretched as long as blue whales and were roughly half as massive. One of the biggest was Argentinosaurus, which measured up to 35 meters long and may have weighed over 70 metric tons. To support such a massive body, Argentinosaurus had strong, pillar-like legs that it may have used to kick and stomp potential predators. Even the largest carnivores would have been wary of this seemingly gentle giant. Mammals topped the charts underwater, and dinosaurs set records on land, but other giant animals could be found soaring in the air. Winged reptiles called pterosaurs were some of the first vertebrates to evolve powered flight, dominating the skies for about 160 million years. The largest known pterosaurs lived during the late Cretaceous period and belonged to the genus Quetzalcoatlus. These animals stood about 5 meters tall when upright, exceeding the height of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its wingspan stretched an estimated 11 meters, making it as wide as an F-35 fighter jet. And it may have weighed up to 250 kilograms, though its exact size remains uncertain. Quetzalcoatlus was so large and heavy that, for many years, paleontologists wondered whether this animal could actually fly. Because of its huge wingspan, Quetzalcoatlus probably could not flap its giant wings while standing on the ground. Instead, it may have used its powerful legs to leap more than 2 meters into the air. The extra height allowed its wings to clear the ground, allowing Quetzalcoatlus to lift its body and soar through the skies. Prehistoric reptiles and extant mammals top the charts as the largest and bulkiest animals to ever exist. But the longest creatures come from an entirely different branch of the animal kingdom. Beyond the oceans, sunny shallows lives an invertebrate that weighs around 200 kilograms, yet can stretch longer than a blue whale. The lion's mane jellyfish is the largest species of jellyfish in the world, and one of the longest animals of all time. The longest recorded specimen had tentacles that reached about 37 meters. Lion's mane jellyfish get their name from the hundreds of long, hair-like tentacles that hang from their massive bells. Like most jellyfish, these animals are slow but effective predators. They feed by stinging smaller animals with their tentacles and dragging them toward their mouths. Because of its size and defensive stingers, the lion's mane jellyfish has few natural predators, roaming the open ocean largely unthreatened. While the lion's mane jellyfish is extraordinarily long, even longer creatures can be found in the deep ocean. Hundreds of meters below sea level, delicate animals called siphonophores are sometimes spotted, shimmering in the darkness. At first glance, these strange drifters resemble jellyfish or creatures from another world. But they are far more complex than they appear. Siphonophores are colonial animals, so their bodies are made up of smaller, specialized organisms called zooids. One siphonophore may house thousands of zooids, which play different roles in sustaining the larger colony. For example, zooids called nectophores create propulsion to move through the water, while gastrozooids capture prey with tiny stingers. Because of their unique structure, siphonophores typically reproduce by budding new zooids from existing ones. Astoundingly, this means that a colony can grow indefinitely under ideal conditions. An especially large siphonophore, known as Praia dubia, measures over 40 meters long, but some siphonophores may grow even longer. One of the strangest and creepiest creatures ever discovered can be found in cold waters around Britain, Norway, and Sweden. Known as the bootlace worm, this unique species of ribbon worm lives in tangled knots along the seafloor and coastline. Their thin bodies measure only 5 to 10 millimeters wide, but when untangled, they can stretch more than 55 meters long, about 4 times longer than an adult T-Rex. Bootlace worms may not look like much, but these unique predators have developed powerful evolutionary tools. When they hunt, bootlace worms leverage an extendable proboscis, which is usually coiled up inside their bodies. When they encounter prey, they can rapidly extend this proboscis to strike and capture their target. They can also release sticky mucus from their bodies, which contains a dangerous toxin capable of paralyzing or killing potential predators. But this mucus also acts as an adhesive, effectively ensnaring any unlucky prey. Bootlace worms may look like tangles of ribbons, but there's more to these simple creatures than meets the eye. As impressive as they are, the animals in this video represent only the species we've identified, not all the species that have ever existed on our planet. Buried deep in the ground or hiding along the ocean floor, we may find evidence of longer, taller, and more massive creatures. As far as we know, these are the largest animals to ever exist on Earth. But more impressive creatures may be discovered in our lifetimes.